Hello. This is yoga music, apparently, for your enjoyment. How's everyone doing today? This is Steven with Fatal Entertainment Studio. Wanted to do another stream here. Hopefully do some Q&A if some people come through. Apparently, yes, I am the yogi, according to Fixius there in Twitch chat. Thanks for tuning in, man. So what we're going to do is, my plan is to run through Ufent's solo quest, which if you watched the Finn solo quest, you saw that those are very unusual. Ufent's is probably even more unusual. He's you're not really supposed to use intensifiers with the word unique. Something either is or is not unique. But his, if you will allow me for a moment, his is the most unique of the solo quests. I think it's very restrictive on the cards that are available for you, your options. It can feel a little claustrophobic at times. It's a very focused and narrow way of playing Infinities that you do in this quest. So hopefully that'll be entertaining for those of you tuning in, either live or if you're watching the VOD back, especially those of you that are in time zones that are not conducive to watching this live. Uh, in the meantime, I figured I would talk about current events for those of you that are not up to speed on those. So I posted an update the other day about what's going on with the manufacturing, also what's going on with the fulfillment. So I do want to touch on those briefly as part of sort of a quick video update before we get into the body of this stream here. So first, if you looked at last month's end of the month update, I had received an estimate that the game should be ready yesterday, actually. And my hope was that I'd be able to show you pictures of games on pallets and shrink wrapped and all kinds of cool stuff. That's not something that I have. The short version is apparently the factory had an issue with the small dice, the little 8mm dice. There was a painting issue with them, some sort of a defect because of their small size. I guess there was some sort of a difficulty with the either machinery or the labor in terms of painting the pips on those. And so those were ordered to essentially be restarted or redone. No, we don't want hashtag 4 more years. That's not a thing. We should not have that. The complication arises in the fact that on Sunday night last week, I was told that the production of the pieces was done and we were moving to assembly and packing so that Friday should be good. And lo and behold, then later in the week, I find out that there's a whole component that needs to be redone and they need 12 more days. So I don't know if that was a miscommunication or what. I like to believe the best in people, so I'm going to say hopefully it was a miscommunication. And we'll get there, I guess. However, I did get a slight piece of good news about this whole matter. So yesterday at 5:47 in the morning, I did get an email from DHL. Because part of what was supposed to happen this past week is I was supposed to be able to do a fail-safe final check. Is anything completely screwed up and has to be redone? Mass production copy check. I hesitate to call them a peer in the business because I'm nowhere near their level. But Tidal Blades just did one of theirs this week. I think they're actually manufacturing with the same company. So they got their mass production copy, and they did the sort of review that I was hoping to do. So, uh, hey, good for them, right? Um, but I digress. 5:47 yesterday morning, I get an email with a tracking number for something from Shanghai, and checked my messages, and I had a brief message from my account manager at the factory who said that they would be sending a mass production copy. So that appears that it's not going to get here until next Thursday. But the fact is they are going to be sending me that so I can show it off to you. Maybe they found some of the dice that were satisfactory. You know, I can't imagine that all of the dice that went into 2,000 copies of the game were completely irreparable, right? So what I'm guessing is they found a batch of some good dice, packed them up, assembled it, and have sent it over. So that's kind of where we're standing with the very final stages of the production. As far as the fulfillment goes, I'm going to be closing down the pledge manager completely, exactly for show and tell, Ray. Exactly. No, I'm not just going to hoard that. I'll be sharing it with you. Uh, what was I saying? Oh, yes, pledge manager. I'm going to be closing that down entirely on Monday. So the reason for that is I would really like the fulfillment partner. So we're using Quartermaster Logistics. I believe that they're going to be tagging in Aetherworks and for our friends in Australia and New Zealand, and Games Quest, I believe, for our friends in Europe. The idea here is that if we can get all these addresses locked in, they can start getting their gears turning. They can get labels created, and they can basically be prepared to quickly receive and turn out the games to you, um, so that you don't have to wait any longer than you must for this. So that's kind of where we are with that. I guess I should let me switch my scene here so you're not just staring at the starting soon screen. Yay, it's a table. So yes, locking in on Monday. I've sent. Um, there are people that have not completed their pledge manager at all. So I guess that's just going to be I've tried to reach out to them in various methods and wait for them to realize that they've not gotten the game when everyone else has. There's not really much else I can do but reach out using the methods they've provided for me, with the information they've given. It's not many people. It's uh, in the tens, basically, out of 1,700 people. But for the rest of you who either have maybe moved, um, or think you're going to move in the next, let's say, 8 to 10 weeks, let's get that locked in. If you are going to be moving somewhere in that time period and you're not sure where you're going to move, because you're trying to find a new place or something like that, please try to let me know as soon as possible so that maybe we can privately arrange something. Maybe I can have them hold a copy of the warehouse for you and then label that and send it out later, something like that. It's something that I will try to work with you on. It's not something that I want to do for a lot of people unless it's necessary, because that kind of defeats the purpose of using the pledge manager and getting things streamlined. But I think, here's my FTP service, all my files. So what I'd like to do, like I said, is play through this Ufent, but there's a few of you tuned in. Does anyone have any sort of questions about, I don't know, art, if they want to see, art drafts of certain characters or something, or lore, or gameplay questions? Um, is that something that you might be interested in at all? And if so, there's a few of you in the chat, so let me know. Fixed variant still in place. Can you be more specific on that? What do you mean by the fixed variant? I'm forgetting. Oh, less dice screw. So yeah, sort of. The rule book toward the back, I think it's in the second to last page, third to last page, has the deterministic dice variant. So essentially, you can just set your dice on whatever you want, essentially, and play that way. You would still do that in turn order, so there would be counterplay with that if you did play that way. In the rule book, I do say that we discourage that you do it in any of the story modes because for some of them it could kind of break it, but we're not there to police you at your table, so I guess we can't technically stop you. Um, but yeah, that is in the book. If there's a group that just says, you know what, that's just too much randomness for me. There's already the cards and the tiles that are random, so let's at least get our action economy stabilized. There's not a huge problem with it. Um, Takes a little bit of the spirit out of things, but so be it. People come up with house rules all the time, so it's basically like an officially recognized house rule variant, if you want to look at it that way. Yeah, no, definitely inside joke. Yeah, I mean, if any of you who have followed the game for a very long time and have seen a previous iteration, once upon a time there was actually a side of the dice that was just a complete fail. It was basically there was an O on that side and it did nothing. And I believe that this was before you could even rest in the game. So you couldn't gain triggers, you could do nothing. It was just a dead die. And we had streamed a tournament for which there are still VODs up on this channel, I believe, on YouTube. And yeah, Fixius in that tournament, I think, at least on one occasion, had 3 of his 4 dice on the O side and not much to do about it. So kind of lackluster turns. And I don't think that quite qualifies as an effective description for his perspective. But yeah, it was seeing things like that though in playtests and in those tournaments where it's just like, yeah, I think we need to do something here because having half or 3/4 or a full turn just completely wasted, like you just can't do anything, was just too punitive and it's not fun. Um, yeah, Fixius probably could have pulled out a win if he really pulled at that pity card, because he was getting the pity from his opponents. But uh, pity only goes so far, I guess. Uh, so, so he still ended up losing, I believe. I think you might have been 0-2 in that tournament, if I recall correctly. Um, Maybe that should be like your new nickname is Owen. Anyway, that's mean. I'll stop. Anything else? Yeah. Gameplay stuff, lore stuff, art stuff. I'm really feeling this yoga music right now. It's got me very relaxed. How is Zael looking these days? Uh, well, good question. Let's see. I wonder if I could pull up something here for you. All right, let's hope that I don't throw up my FTP server again. Oh, Ray, that's a good question actually. Someone asked that in the last YouTube stream. Um, I think the only thing that's not fixed with the TTS mod, the tabletop simulator mod, is all of the leaders. I don't know that they are all updated. Basically, for Finn last week, I put in her final version, and for Ufent this week, I put in his final version. So I think that's the only thing I have to actually go back through and update and, go ahead and put the snap points, so these cubes will snap to the boards and stuff like that in the correct places. So I'll get on that. It's a lot of my Infinities attention has been going to, the sort of disaster that's going on overseas right now. But yeah, I think that's the only thing. All the skirmish cards, excuse me, have their final versions. Sorry, my throat. Yeah, all the skirmish cards have their final versions. Oh, you know what? I think I need to update the pages because these are JPEG pages for the rulebook. Although I think that since I've really been messing with the mod in the last couple of months, they have enabled um, you can set up booklets with PDFs, if I am recalling correctly. So maybe that's something I will look into so it'll be a little bit more automated because it's kind of a pain updating the rulebook via JPEG export. So that way I can get it and it's easy to make sure that it's if we have to make any erratas or things like that, it'd be easier to change it along the way. One thing that I will say for those people who don't already know this is the story guide is not something that's going to be made available, at least for the foreseeable future, online. Um, you can play skirmishes and such, but that's a lot of content to just sort of give away for free. Um, I don't know if once the game ships, we'll also back off on how many leaders are in the official mod. Um, that way, it doesn't feel like people are getting the thing that you backed and you paid for and you waited for, if they're not getting too much of it for free, you know? I have not made a final decision on that yet. What was I talking about? Zael, right. Let's get Zael pulled up here. So, screen 2. Here's some early concepts for Zael that no one has ever seen before. Um, I believe Zael was done by the artist Jillian Young, who came in much, much later in the project. And, um, I'm really trying to remember what her first piece was, but it was certainly a Deva Network piece. And she just really had an eye for, doing interesting things with the high tech aesthetic, right? I guess you could say there's kind of this mixture of far future, but also little bits of cyberpunk kind of things going on, especially with Zael, where you can see that she has these augments on her, eye and on her hands and so on. She has the cables coming out of the top of her head that kind of look like hair. So in these drafts, it looks, more like hair before we really nailed down the cable aesthetic. Um, so these are some cool. We definitely wanted to get her feeling cocky, and when you get into her story, her solo quest, she's very wink. She's like a winky character. That is to say, she's like Jim in The Office. She's looking down the camera, you know. So I don't want to spoil too much about her story, but anyone who is there for the Kickstarter campaign knows that she is a bit of a fourth wall breaker. So there's some of that going on. So we definitely wanted her to be cocky, but also like kind of doing a little smirk and a wink uh, as far as how expressive she was. Um, what else about her? Here were some early poses that we had for her, for Zael. We really liked the idea for having all of these drones that she was, she was controlling as a technopath. So she's sort of, I guess you could say, hijacked some of the Deva network, so to speak. She's got her own little pocket of it that she controls, which you can see in the final art. I'll pull up some closer to final art here with the pink lights that are coming from her rather than the traditional kind of teal Deva network lights. Um, One of the things we were focusing on here was that contrast, right? Like how much contrast is right so where once we start doing the color, you'll be able to actually see the detail, right? Um, so we ended up with something kind of close to a meeting point between one and two, um, as far as her posing went. And we really liked the idea of, okay, she's got this drone swarm. So now let's have her with a really big drone that she's sitting on and just like sort of floating there on. So she kind of has her own mount, I guess you could say. So those are some drafts once we got a little further on. Exactly, yeah. So like if the contrast was too bad and too stark, uh, it'd be harder to like where do we actually focus when we're looking at the picture. Now, of course, you can see, and this is something that Jillian did. You can kind of get. Can you see my? I think you can see my cursor. Yeah, you can kind of see where she had like the panes of what would be on the actual leaderboards, just to get an idea of what would be kind of in frame and what would be behind frame. And this was actually before we moved to our final design for the leaderboards, which was a much more translucent set of panes. And the panes themselves, the art on there was blurred a little bit, so we can make them even more translucent than they were before. Because that blurring at least allows for that readability of text that's on the actions, on the reaction, and so you can of course see the attribute tracks and all the details therein. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know if people that are in Twitch chat that don't know already. So Hoover Hog's a co-designer. He was mentioning here he loves the Art Deco feel of number one. That is, yeah, that does strike me as like a, I guess that's that 1920s, I guess, kind of aesthetic of the light coming up from the ground onto a piece of architecture or even like a statue or something like that. She looks a little more regal, I think, in number one versus the sort of a little bit sinister on two. And that's the other thing is we didn't want her to be entirely sinister and more just cocky. So you'll see that we turned her face up in the final version a little bit, so it wasn't such a I'm the bad one type thing. The past version of an image of the future. Sure. There's smoke coming from my ears now. Let's see. Is this interesting for you guys, or do you want me to just go ahead and start playing? I don't know. Is this because I don't have to play. I just figured I would in case no one was here, but since people are here, we can talk and look through stuff, and that can be what this stream is. Let me know. Do you want to see more Zael stuff? It's not derailing. It's just interaction. That's what a stream's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a recording, right? That's kind of what the last one turned out to be. Was just me talking to myself, which is fine. Both is fun. I'll maybe do this for a little bit more, and then I'll dive into the solo. What else is good from this set of stuff? Here's a really early color pass where you can see a lot more like the sort of penciling lines than were in the final version. You can definitely see we actually we picked her head up and we kind of gave it that a little bit of a cock to the side, a little tilt. Um, so again, it was more on the playful side than the sinister side. How do I zoom in with this Windows 10 Bonanza? Can I do Control? Yeah. And you can see, I mean, this is probably pretty familiar to people that are anticipating that cyberpunk game. You can see the sort of the seams in her skin that are coming out there, even in this early draft. And then, of course, her hair is much more clearly looking like cables here than organic hair. Uh, so if you didn't get a close look on that because of the lighting or whatever when you've looked at her before, that's definitely what's going on top of her head. And then she's got her drone buddies all around her, and then her big mount, right, that she's sitting on. But again, much more toward that cocky persona. Of course, she's staring right into the camera, if you will, right? And then we started moving on. Oops. Oh, I can just scroll wheel this? Oh, well, that's much easier. Okay. You see that now she's got her eye that's matching the glow coming from the drones, kind of to signify that connection. Most definitely pick someone who really captures the artistic feel you're going for. Oh, yeah. So uh, early on, we just got super lucky finding Yella. Um, and she really got the style we were going for with sort of the mixture of the what do you call it? Uh, I think Vexel was the word. It's been a while since I've talked about it. Yeah, yeah, we did some workshopping on the drones too. Um, so it's not quite vector art. It's not uh, it's not painterly. It's kind of this meeting place in between. But we liked bold and flatter colors for the most part. And then later on, when Jillian came on board, she like adapted super quickly to that style, and yeah, she really nailed it. That does look a lot like a probe, like Probius. Since I play Heroes of the Storm, I don't. Oh no, I'm gonna trigger Hoover Hog right now. I don't really play StarCraft, so Probius is my access point to the probes from StarCraft. Um, yeah, looks a lot like him. How do I do the Then we started messing with the lighting a little bit more, as you can see here. And then if you actually take a look, let's see how well I can side by side. We kind of uncocked her head a bit once we started going to rendering. And we started taking like we took the forehead scene, moved it over. There's a couple little things, but now she really, like, she's got that little upturn in her lips. Uh, just a little bit more expressive because this one almost looks a bit of admiration maybe in her face, like, "Oh, aren't you a cool player for picking me?" And this one is more like, "Yeah, of course you picked me," right? A little bit more self-assured, I guess you could say. There's more plating on her face as well from her augmentations. We kept the eye glowing, but as you can see now, it's kind of not just the iris, but kind of the whole eye has a bit of that tint to it. Um, as you see, the lines are starting to go away now as we're getting toward the final art, and it's looking more, again, kind of vectory, right, with these flat colors on here. I know vectory is definitely a word. But you can start seeing the transition here of her, especially her expressiveness. You also notice that she went from having just sort of a fingerless glove to, whoops, to these sort of articulated mechanical fingers. And then her glove, also Jillian helped develop this symbol that she would use kind of for herself, which is already on here, but now it's even on this um, little wrist monitor. The Probius of art words. Yeah, yeah. And she also started putting some, faux text on screens. And since this is Infinities, there's some branching going on here. What are some of the calculated possibilities rather than just the blank screens? So we're, getting much closer. Then we started putting some highlights on and decided let's go ahead and make this mostly a lit up eye. You can still see kind of the center of it, but it was a little harder to tell, I guess, is kind of the direction that we felt with this. You can't really see it matching the drone so well. When you get here, you can really tell. Um, so you can see we're starting to bring in the lights of the sort of the cityscape on her back and shoulders, also on the drones, right? And then we actually changed her screens to add a little bit of contrast on the colors. So she's got her primary screen that comes out of her wrist that's still her color, but then it accesses more like a Deva colored screens. Yeah. So Jordan Hoover Hogs, he was also involved in giving notes and everything on helping our artists get to where we wanted it to be. And yeah, he was really rallying for that eye to be fully lit up. We finally went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. And then, oops, that's not going to be easy to compare. I think that's mostly the same, though. I don't know if much changed. Also, the keen observer would notice that there's this grid in the skyline, so we can tell that we are under a dome in the city. So that is basically the final version of Zael from the art. So I don't know how well Windows is going to accommodate this. We'll see. Oh no, what have I done? So that's kind of how we got to Zael from start to finish. Pretty cool, right? All right, so do we want to see more art type stuff, or do we want me to go ahead and move forward playing stuff? Tell me. I don't know how Zale. Well, I think I know how Zale became everyone's favorite character. I have an idea, and it's probably because she quote unquote hacked the campaign. I got concerned emails about it, and then we also did the gradual art reveal in the Discord, which I don't know if I still have that GIF. But yeah, it does seem to be a lot of people's favorite character. Oh, sorry about the Windows noise there. Sorry about that again then. Yeah, I don't know if I've got that saved somewhere. I should. Oh well. Oh, is Zale really your phone background? That's cool. I for a time I actually had um Azej as my computer background because it was really good on two monitors splitting him, and they had like the wings coming out. But then I just changed it to the background of Chi-Gen's artwork. I really wish I could find that Zael GIF for you guys to see. Oh wait, have I? There we go. So yeah, Zael had been messaging people randomly in the server. Uh, I think that the files were password protected, right? And from like different clues about her or the Dava network or the game, and people, as they solve them, would share those with the server. Oops. Well, that's an old logo you just saw there for a second. Um, Look at that thing. Speaking of drafts, that's what happens when you let me try to make something. I can't zoom into this for some reason. Oh well. Anyway, that's the gradual reveal of Zael. I've gone quiet for you. Can people still hear me? Speaking of crab fangs, um, let's see. Didn't we just recently post that in the Discord? Or no? Where is that? I can't seem to find it. Oh, here we go. That's Hoover Hog's contribution to the art for our game. I'm gonna let that just speak for itself. The glorious crab fang axe. Yeah, I don't think that Zael would dirty her hands with holding an axe. It's just my take. Veto power. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Okay, so also, this kind of stuff is what's in the not for every character and every unit or spell, but these kinds of drafts um, are also in the art book. So if you did order that, there's a lot of this kind of stuff in there um, that you'll have little peeks into the process. I just figured I'd stage them out here because obviously you don't want to put all of them on the pages, but it'll be like a draft, like here's where it started and then here's where it is. But with this on the stream, I can show you all the steps. So do we want to see Ufent then? I'm already 44 minutes into the stream. Might as well actually play something. All right, so just like last time, I don't want to go into um, all of the story. I'll leave some of that for when you actually get your books. But the short version is he's got a world spine shard from a world spine that is not the solar one that is at the center of Vara. So Ufent has come up as a man of faith, and over the years uh, he's seen some atrocities with incursions from other uh, factions into Vara. Sound issue is you? Okay, I would make sure it was not me. So basically, he's essentially comes up as a priest, and coming into his adulthood, he actually fathers a child and leaves the priesthood to sort of start a new life. But in that, once he starts distancing himself from his faith, he starts getting haunted by the visions of some of these invaders that have come before and really wreaked havoc on Vara and on his people. Um, and so he decides that he like commissions this ship to go to the world spine in the sea, which is where these people have come from. And he's not going to attack them because he is a man of understanding and compassion, but he just wants to understand, where are they getting their power and why do they behave the way that they do. So he wants to find a way to obtain a piece of it. Long story short, he does. And after he obtains that, he wants to start sort of channeling the light into this darkened fragment of world spine to again understand it and potentially wield those sorts of powers, but wield them in a way that's going to be constructive and helpful to his people. So that's kind of like the skeleton of like who he is and what he's doing in the story, is trying to, I guess you could say, purify or at least parse this foreign artifact. And so what he's going to do is he's going to be taking it throughout Vara to these different temples of the light to try to use that concentrated power um, to access this shard. You'll notice that there's only one tile on the board as I start. So he's basically going to arrive back in Aldan, which is a major city in Vara, and start on his quest. And in this quest, he is only allowed to bring 3 units with him. And so at the very beginning, what you will do is kind of rifle through the deck and figure out which units you want. The decision making behind that will become evident in just a moment, as far as why you would pick one unit over another. So you'll have these 3 units, and that's it. You're not going to interact with any other units. You're not going to be able to play other units, draw other units. You can't draw cards. You can't prepare cards. You can't rest. You can't use the basic reaction. So this is a very restrictive paradigm that you have to play within for this quest. If you want to, this is like a, walking that path of faith. Like, can I get by on just the very bare minimum, kind of like my own inner strength kind of thing? Because a lot of this is about him. While he's looking into this shard, he's also looking kind of inward. Yes, Fixius will definitely like the dice mechanics in this, so I'll get to that in a second. So for my deployment, of course, I can start in Aldan, I control it, and so I've got it to level 2 energy because it's an energy tile. The AI, which is made up of what's called twisted reflections, they don't have a leaderboard, but they do use a set of control tokens. So they also don't have a turn, but it does have effects that will target everywhere on the map. So what it's going to do is place control tokens, which count as both uh, actual control tokens, but also units in a group that has no limit. Yes, yeah, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, absolutely. um, so the units have 3 plus their tile's influence defense, 1 HP, and a single die action with a cost that matches their tile's type. And when I discover tiles, it's going to be placed immediately under control of the AI. So it's almost like it puts one of its, its units are sort of everywhere. And so as soon as I go into a tile and discover it, it's going to have a control token there. And then as I go through the game and I try to control tiles, I'm going to have to make different types of checks to try to allow myself to take them over. And if I fail, bad stuff happens. That's all you need to know for really right now. And then at the end of end phase, I'm sorry, after the reset step of end phase, it's going to roll a die, and it'll have a variety of effects that it will do to the board or me based on the result of that. So that's almost like a, on Pandemic, flip that card over. It might be like, oh, okay, we can deal with that, or it might be something very, very bad happens from that end phase die roll. As for me, this is the part where Fixius will probably dig in. So in your start phase, you lock in 1 die set to any face you want. It doesn't have to match your tile. In the roll phase, you don't roll dice. You lock in dice that match the 1 die actions of your grouped units. So that's a big part of how and why you choose the units you do. So for me, I got 1 die that's whatever, but I wanted to be able to guarantee, okay, I'm definitely going to be able to use agility to move around. Probably, I'll probably need to make some power checks at some point. Maybe even want to use my leader's action because it's important. And I want to have a boost as kind of number 1. I can do conversions and such with it, but also I might even do this 2 die action, which does some powerful stuff. So that way it kind of leaves me like this would be my dice pool kind of, and then this one's whatever I want it to be. Here's the problem with that. As I said, you only get 3 units. If the AI, if the Twisted Reflections ever kill one of your units, like if it killed this unit, on my future turns, I no longer get power dice. And now I have 3 dice for the rest of the game. And then if he kills this guy, I now have 2 dice for the rest of the game. So it's very much a war of attrition as well. You really do not want to let your units die, or else it's going to be an inevitable loss if you get too far damaged. So what's some other stuff I can do? I can attempt to control my current tile after I destroy the token in it. So like for instance, if I'm in a tile, again, those tokens are going to also count as units. So if I'm in my tile, I attack that token, I kill it, I can immediately try to control my tile. I will have to make the check for it, which you'll see me do. But you can do that. That's unique to this quest. When it punishes me on my failures, if it destroys some of my tokens or destroys my units or something, I can react to those, but those end phase punishments I can't react to. In the end phase reset, I can heal one of my units for 1 HP. So that helps with some of the attrition, but if they take large hits, it's going to be hard to keep up. And then I have a couple of special things on Ufent. I've got Crumble, which is I can spend an energy die, which I'm not going to have unless I set my free die to energy. I can spend energy and discard cards from my deck, and it scales based on how many tiles I control. And I can shuffle a target tile back into the stack because there's going to be tiles that might be, we'll just say might be having some problems with them. so I can get tiles out of the board. It'll also make those control tokens go away on them. I also have Essence Tap, so when I'm using this 2-die action, let me not tilt that. It's still tilting. When I use this 2-die action, I can attempt to control the tile um, after destroying the token unit on it, and I can reroll up to all of the dice in my control check one time. So when I make that tough control check, if I use my 2-die action, it'll actually make things easier. I kind of get like a retry on it. And the retry is up to all of my dice, so I can keep the good ones. You know, a lot of the times in this game we say it's reroll all or nothing, but for this one you get a selective reroll. So that's the kind of stuff that I'll be doing. I'll be walking around trying to control tiles. Ultimately, my goal is to control 3 will tiles, so the ones with the purple star on them. Those checks are the hardest, as you might guess. And if I can do that, I win. If there are 5 enemy tokens on the map at the end of a round, I lose. Also, if there are no units in my group at the end of the round, I lose. That's kind of a foregone conclusion because then I'll only have 1 die left, but that is another way that you lose, is by having all of your units gone. Okay, so I am going to, let me take a quick 30 seconds and get situated here, and then we will start. All right, let's get to it here. So I think I am going to, let's see. One thing about Tabletop Simulator that I've still never figured out is a way for us to be able to shuffle. Yeah, I need a drink for my pilgrimage. Is a way to have these as like shuffled decks for the tiles and also expose the next one. So you do get to see the next one. So I've got an energy coming up. Let's just leave this on will for right now. So these will be my dice because I don't get to roll them. Because again, they're matching what my units are. I mean, the other thing about the units is, of course, you're looking at their actions because maybe they'll be helpful too, right? Okay. I guess the first thing I'll do, since I've got an energy coming up, is discover this and do stuff. So as soon as this gets discovered, yeah, I don't want it to be that. It gets controlled by the AI. So that is, what is the influence here? 2. So that is a unit that has 5 defense, 1 HP, and it has an energy action for the purposes of anything that targets things with certain actions. Yeah, basically, yeah, this actually fixes, this is a draw bag. It just has a custom model, yeah. All right, so I have moved. So I guess my next thing could be, I could try to attack this thing, kill it, and then try to take the tile over. So that's probably what I will do. Let's see. I could do this. I could gain a trigger and use the 1-die action of a unit in my group, such as this. Destroy that in my current tile. That seems good. Let's just do that. So I don't even have to roll the attack. So I'll gain a trigger, and then I'll use the Matriarch's 1 die action to destroy the token in my current tile. It doesn't have another one on the board because I'm not being reckless. See, I only moved 1 space instead of 2. You can really get ahead of yourself in this, so got to be careful in this one. And so this gets destroyed. And now I get to, again, Ufent has a special rule in this one. I can attempt to control my current tile after destroying the token in it. It will require a check. So I have to make an attribute check that matches the type of the tile, so energy. The difficulty will be 4 plus 5 per tile of that type I control, which is, I got 1 of these. So it is going to be a 9 difficulty check to control this tile. I guess I can use my HP dice, really, if you want to get technical about it. So I need a 9. That doesn't appear to be a 9. And so the horror begins. So what happens when I fail on an energy tile? It controls the highest influence tile. Highest influence tile adjacent to you that it does not already control. Well, this is happening. Now I can react to that. And I can destroy it. If we look at my reaction. There's no triggers for me to deplete, but at least I can destroy the token. I cannot pass that agility check though, because my agility is only level 1. That's probably worth a trigger to stop this from just spiraling out of control though. So I'll spend the trigger just to do the base part, which is to destroy 1 control token. Hoover, that even rhymes. That's amazing. Well, this did not go super well. I guess what I could do... I could re-roll this die and lock it back in and see if I get another agility and then save this for an attack or something maybe, if I get into a bad spot. Let's re-roll this using my Phoenix. Physics? Hello? Physics, are you there? Let's just pick it up and set it down. And it looks like it's a will. Alright. Then I guess I will use this like an agility. And I will move 1. Whoa, now. Speaking of physics, I'll move 1 and try to control it. The difficulty for this will just be 4. Oh my. But I have 1 die. I believe in myself. I've done it. So that will go on here. Blah. Second move, why not? What's the next one? Nah, I'll try this again. So it's going to be a 9 again. Let's try to control it. Yeah, that was my all 6 die. So I need a 9. I got it. All right. Now we're doing something. Okay. Oh, man. My timeline can have 4 cards in it, except I'm not able to draw cards or prepare them. But man, if I could. All right. I can't rest. I'm out of triggers. So I think what I will do is at least just expose this next tile. Actually, I think I'll do 2 tiles because then I might stomp them with the matriarch. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Let's see. Let's do it like that. So we'll go here. This gets controlled. And again, I can't go crazy with this because if it has 5 at any time, or I'm sorry, at the end of the round, I will lose. Oh, there's one of my will tiles. I see. Well, this might be a no time like the present situation. So it's going to grab that, and then I'm out of stuff. Rolling Rock is about to get smashed. No, it couldn't be me. All right, so end phase. I can heal unit, but none of my units have taken damage, luckily, yet. It's going to roll a die, and I'll tell you what happens. So, 1 is the worst, and that's what it rolled. Okay. So on a 1, it attacks my leftmost unit, and now you're seeing why I put my tankiest one over here. It attacks my leftmost unit. It rolls 1 die plus 1 per power tile I control. So luckily, how did we get to this stuff? Let's go back to the yoga music. What's going on here? There we go. So it's going to roll just 1 die on the check. So let's see how its attack goes. Unfortunately, the matriarch does have low defense. So that's going to do, it's 2, and she has 2 defense, so it will damage her once. Also, the timing is very deliberate here. I can heal during the reset phase of, or reset step of end phase. The AI's effect happens after that. So it's not like, oh, it pinged me, now I can heal it. Because basically we're mean. So that's the reason. All right, well, let's look at a second round here. I'm definitely going to get these 3. What is my chosen day going to be? Yeah, so Hoover did the big like legwork for, like, he did the majority of the legwork for the solo quests as far as like their structure and so on. So if you're ever mad about the solo quests, please direct your anger elsewhere, not me. However, you can direct your sympathy to me because I'm the one that like did a ton of the play testing for them and had to do a lot of suffering. Like there was someone who was like, "Well, I'm going into the 3rd hour on this, so I think we need to fix something." So pity me is what I'm trying to say. I want to control this will tile. That's a thing that I want. What's the next tile going to be? Yeah, the fact you get to root against me is a bonus, of course. You know what I should do is figure out a way to put my chat on the stream itself so people in the VOD could see it. I know this is like a diversion. I'm basically stalling now so I don't lose so fast. Is there a way I can do that? No! Oh, I don't think I can do it. Yeah. Actually, wait. Hang on, hang on, hang on. I have an idea. Yeah, well, no, it does, but as soon as I click into my TTS window, then it puts it to the back, puts the chat to the back. Hang on. Window capture. Will that work? Hmm. No, I don't think I can. I'd have to get like a plug-in or something probably. Um, at least I think. Wait a minute. Copy this URL. I'm super stalling, by the way. Does that work? I can't even see what that is. It's true, yeah, a lot of the solos ended up too easy on the first iteration. Is that chat showing up? Or is it super duper small and not worth it? Is that legible? Yeah. Okay, nah, I'll take it off. I'll take it off. I'll figure it out maybe for next time, now that I know people will actually come and chat. All right, back to my round here. I need to pick my free die. I think I want to go full force here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll play with some options. I don't want to make you guys just sit here and wait. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is use my single die action here, gain a trigger, and I'm gonna use my matriarch again, I think. So, what does she get to do? Destroy the token in my current tile and one more owned by the same player, and I can make an energy check to try to control one of those tiles. Of course, I can do so anyway, but Ufent's rule, he can control his tile if he destroys it, the token in it. But with the matriarch, I could technically try to control the other one. So I don't need to bother with that part. I'm just going to destroy these two tokens. I did get destroyed a lot. That's a true statement that he is sharing there. Feels super bad. Okay, so I am immediately realizing that I've made a mistake. Oh no. Well, oh hey Panda. Panda, this is the board game that I kickstarted. Panda is the leader of my Phantasy Star Online 2 alliance. Yeah, I'm going in the right direction, downhill. Oh boy. So here's the thing, folks. In the will tile, when you try to control it, yeah, yeah, that's the delay in China is PSO addiction. All right, so for the will tile, two things. Number one, it has increased difficulty of 6 plus 6 per will that I control, which is currently none, but it would be a 6 difficulty. And the other wrinkle is I have to use my lowest attribute. So for those playing the home game, my lowest attribute would be 1 for both power and agility. Oh, I forgot I'm supposed to level them all 3 up before I try a will tile. It's been a little bit since I've played this one, okay? That's the thing. It's not like I practice before I do these streams. It's just like, yeah, this one seems like a good idea. So, yeah, you're about to see what happens when you don't pay attention to all of the things when you try these quests. They will bite you. Why is your screen frozen? Can you see my cursor? Uh-oh. Did I mess something up? It's very possible I messed something up. Did that fix it? Sorry, folks. I might have messed up there. Is it working now? Okay. Yeah. So the problem is I've got the TTS capture, and then I also had just the monitor capture so I could pull up Zael's art and such. And I think I had switched back to that, but it wasn't actually updating. I don't know. You don't really care about that. It's fixed. That's all that matters. Okay, back to me screwing up. So I'm trying to control this will tile, and I have to roll a 6 using my lowest attribute, which will be either of these. So I do have, hang on, just to point out, I do have a +1 to either of these checks because at least my energy is here. So technically, I just need to roll 5. I mean, easy peasy. So what, I've got like a 32-ish% chance or something? 33 and, I don't know, whatever. 33 and a third. So here's the thing about 33 and a third is it's definitely not 100. So pull out the all 6 die. Yeah, where is that thing? Maybe I can get one with the painting error on it that's got 6 on all the sides. There we go. That joke is actually a little too real right now. So here's why you don't mess around and try a will tile before you're ready in this quest. Do you want to know why? Because this happens. It just flat out destroys your leftmost unit. So, yeah, that's super fine. So as a reminder, I can win the game by controlling 3 of those purple starred tiles. I can lose the game by all 3 of my units dying, or by the enemy having 5 tokens on the map. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm in turn 2 and I'm already down by a die in a unit. It's gonna be, this is just great. Well, I better make use of this agility while I still have it, because that's going away after this round. But I can't rest. And I have no triggers. So I kind of really need to use power to fuel my triggers with my leader's action, which is also, again, I'm not, well, I am stalling, but I'm also giving insight here. So when Jordan was like first laying these out, part of it was, let's make sure we're doing cool things with the leader's actions, right? That they help them get out of binds, or maybe like the entire quest revolves around clever use of them. And so for this one, because I can't rest, I really need to lean pretty heavily on this leader action. That way it feels like it's actually important, like this is the quest for Ufent, for example. Okay, back to me losing. So I'm going to use this other power that I had decided upon to do that. Um, so I can gain a trigger and use one of my single die actions. There's no unit for me to attack other than my own, and I definitely don't want to do that unless I just want to get this thing over with. I can re-roll the die. So let's re-roll the die and lock it back in. Okay, great. Okay, I could spend this to convert this to a power, because that's just a basic thing I can do with a boost die. Convert a die to another face. And let's do this again to get another trigger. So I'm going to use this Capricious Phoenix again to reroll the die. Okay. Huh. I can't rest with that. Really, the only thing you can do with an energy die in this quest, unless you've got a unit that has a special action, is you can use the Crumble, which is where you discard cards from your deck, so you'll eat through the deck, to shuffle a target tile back into its stack. I don't know that I even want to do that, though. Unless I want to save this. Well, no, I don't want to do that. I think this die is just going to get burnt, quite frankly. With this, let's do... Boost tiles are really good because I can't rest, so at the end of rounds you get one trigger per boost tile you control. That seems super worthwhile. So I am going to move here, and I'll try to control that after my first move. Yeah, I'm also 90% sure I'm going to be stomped here because I really made a just terrible mistake in the second round. But we'll play it out a little bit here. So kind of like how the will tiles had a special role, which was 6+6 per will you control, Boost has a special one, which is I can use any attribute for the check, and it's going to be 4+5 per type I control. So I don't control any boost tiles, so it's just a 4, and I can use my level 3 energy to just try to get a 4. Okay, if I rolled a 3, I was just going to go ahead and stop the stream. So luckily I didn't. So let's go ahead and slap this control here. For those that are like new or what have you, this doesn't increase my stats at all. As you can see, there's no boost. I guess I should say attribute is the term. There's no boost attribute But like I said, this is going to give me extra triggers down here at the end of the round, which will be nice. My second move. What's on the other side of Tomb? I don't know if I remember. Okay, that's not bad. Let's set it up like that. Not that it super matters because I can move through the walls of it, but so the AI immediately controls the tile upon discovery. And that'll be my movements. This die just goes unspent and burnt. I can heal a unit, which if this one would have survived, it did have damage on it, but unfortunately it is DED dead. I have one boost tile controlled, so I can gain a trigger, and now the AI is going to do bad things to me. If it rolls another 1, I'm also going to stop the stream. Okay. On a 4 to 6, it controls 1 plus agility that I control. So it scales off of agility, but it controls tiles. So it's going to control 1 of the highest influence uncontrolled tiles. So it's just going to take this temple over here, this will tile back. Okay, that's not terrible. 4 to 6 is like the okay result. It's the 2 to 3 and the 1 that's really bad. All right, so I lose this die now going into the third round. And this is just going to fall apart on me now. So I get a power from this guy. Oops. A boost from this guy. And for my any die, I probably... That 2-die action is attractive. Because I could kill both of its tokens. Because both of its tokens are adjacent to a tile that I control somewhere. So like, if I centered this, it's basically like a blast AoE. If I centered it here, I could kill this one and I could kill this one. Like both of them. So that would be good. And then I could attempt to control the one, I could control my tile, because that's part of the special rule for this quest. And then I could try to maybe move. See if I can get myself into agility. Let's be loosey-goosey with this. I'm going to take a will. Yeah, these venomous lizards are going to somehow spit across regions. Don't worry about it, okay? They open venom wormholes, okay? That's what happens. You can quote me. Venom wormholes. All right, well, let's do that. Just for the sake of fun. So I'm going to use a 2-die action. Destroy up to 2 tokens adjacent to the tile I control. Whoops, that's the whole tile. And ba-ba-boom. Just cleaning up the map. I don't want them to get the 5. Suddenly lizards. Thousands of them. Yeah, that's true. And now I can attempt to control my power tile I'm in. So again, I'll have to roll a power check, which I only have a single die for. And I need a 4. I do get a +1 from right here, since I'm at level 3 energy. So I really need a 3-up, which is quite good. Yay. So I got my power up. Now I really need an agility tile real bad so I can attempt this will tile again and hopefully not lose the whole game. So I'm gonna go a Corton, I think. So first one, another power, huh? So I think I'm gonna move through the wall because being in a power tile allows that. So I'm gonna go here. It will be controlled. Come on, agility. Oh no. Well, that's bad times. Because that's gonna be a tough one to get off there and keep off. Hmm. So it now has 2 of the 5 tokens on the board that it needs to beat me. I am not anywhere. I have not made any progress toward my goal, unfortunately. And yes, it is also it's basically it's 2/5 of the way to one victor condition and 1/3 of the way to another, and I haven't made any progress. So that's just dandy. I do get a trigger from this boost tile. Let's go to a 4th round and see how long I can eke out this existence of mine here. So I get a power from my lizards, boost from my phoenix. I desperately need an agility tile. I think I'm going to do the same loop I did last turn, which is kill these 2 tokens with my lizard blast, my lizard wormhole, and then move with this to try finding an agility tile. Man, the map is getting very big. Like you'll notice, folks, when you play this one, the map's going to be very small for the most part. Because if you make it too big, you'll just lose control of it and just you lose the game pretty quickly. Hi, yay. Just need an agility tile, man. Come on. All right, let's do my my little wormhole here. Since these are both adjacent to this one that I control, I can do it. This is definitely stalling. I am not going to attempt to control the tile that I'm in. I can't afford that. Although, hang on. I'm about to do something real stupid, probably. Because look, I do technically need to roll a 6. But I'll be rolling agility because it's my lowest attribute. But look at this. +1 agility, +1 agility. All I need to roll is a 4. I mean, I'm good. It's a 50-50 shot. I need a 4 up. So the question is, do I stake this game on a coin flip? Or do I play smart? What do you think? Play smart? I guess. 50-50 is 100% failure. Hoover brings up a good point. I did roll a 4 last time. Also, look at all these dice. They're all primed and ready. Hang on. Look, they're all primed and ready to be a 4. Nah, I'll play smart. I'll be a baby. All right, let's hope for an agility tile. What is this? Serpent tunnels? Other side. Bop. Oh, okay. Hey, look, there's an agility tile. So it controls this one. But hey, I got my agility tile. Finally. I need this yoga music or else my blood pressure would be very high. All right, so I'm out of dice because I only have 3 of them now because he killed my matriarch. Rest in peace. So I have a boost tile controlled, so I will get a trigger. It is going to roll its die that's going to do bad stuff. Please, 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 not a 1. Ooh, it was a 1 for a split second. A 2 is still not great. It controls my highest influence non-will tile. Well, I don't control any will tiles. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Who put this in here? Who made this? Oh my god, they're so mean. All right, folks. It controls my highest influence tile, and it depletes all of my triggers. So 5, I think. Yeah. Oh. You're right. It's my fault for not rolling. Hey, but you know what? You know what that shows me? I would not have rolled a 4 to 6 for my control of that will tile, so I totally feel vindicated. So it is now 3/5 of the way to victory for the map condition and 1/3 of the way for my cards. Things are looking really great. And I've got no triggers. All right. I'll have to lock these in. I think this is going to be a power so I can get some triggers going again. You know, for someone whose trigger meter is empty, I still feel pretty triggered, Fixius. I'm not going to lie. I still have great capacity for being triggered. All right. Also, I don't even know if the Facebook stream is still going because I think there's a limit on it. Let me check that real quick. I'm doing a multi-stream. Oh, it looks like it is. Okay. So Facebook's good. I'm just going to do a recheck here before I do this round. Twitch. I think that's where most of you are watching. Twitch is good. And I think YouTube is good. Yeah. Sorry, I am definitely an amateur. Roll my mini d6, that'll calm me down. Oh god, it would have been a 4. Why did I listen to you? You're not a good person. Oh man. Alright, oh, whatever. Okay, so in this round, I think I need to clean the map a bit. Oh no. I can't clean these 2 tokens. Because if you look here, it's destroying tokens adjacent to a tile I control. I don't control a tile adjacent to them. Huh. Well, I could do a regular attack on it. Yeah. I could do a regular attack on it and then try to control it with the unique rule from this quest. And then with my other one, I can destroy the one over here. I think I kind of have to. What's the What's the defense here? 3 plus influence. So it's got 5 defense and 1 HP. So I would need to get a 5 on my attack. I've got 2 dice for the attack. I have a +1 to the attack here. So on 2 dice, I should be able to roll a 4 up. Like that seems reasonable. I say now. Yeah, okay, so I got a 9. We're good. So that'll kill this. Oh, I can't control it. I don't have any triggers. Oh, well, I'll use this to do what I should have done first, probably, which is gain a trigger and use a 1-die action for my group. So with this die that I used, I will use my Phoenixes, which is to re-roll that die. Fix did tell me to play smart, and I'm explicitly not listening to him, apparently. And I get an energy. Woohoo! Speaking of dice which are basically failures, at least in this quest. You know what? I think I'm actually going to use it, though. Oops. I think I'm going to use that to discard, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Discard 3 cards from the deck and shuffle Aldon back into its stack. Use my Matriarch ability. How dare you? Oops, wrong deck. So let me get this off of the table and shuffled back into the deck. That's a different one, right? Okay. All right, Fix. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Appreciate you coming by. So that wasn't a total waste. At least I got rid of one of his tokens. For this, I'm going to use the Phoenix's action to re-roll it. That's not bad. I can do a little pivot move, go like 1, 2 back into this tile, and attempt to control it. I need to roll an agility check, and I need a 4. I have a +2, so I'm feeling really good about that. Okay. It's controlled. Everything's coming up Millhouse. All right. So where does that put us? Those are all my dice. I get a trigger from my boost tile. It rolls a bad thing. Of course. Controls my highest influence tile and depletes all my triggers. What's my highest influence? Probably this 4. Oh, good. My boost, my little mine that I set up over here for triggers. Great. Great stuff. Okay. This is fine. Everything's fine. All right. This, oops, not that. This, and this. I need to get some triggers here. I will gain a trigger, use a 1-die action of a unit in my group. Can't do that, so it's just going to be the reroll from the Phoenix. knew it was going to be energy. I knew it. I saw it spinning. Okay. Nope, no round limit. Most of the solos do not have a round limit. Some of them have like critical mass points and stuff. Some of them do have hard limits on like a ticking clock that's counting down and stuff like that. But this one does not have a limit. Nope. Okay, well, I can convert this to an agility to move here and try to control it, I guess. So I will need a 6 on this roll. The way that the will tiles go is it's 6 plus 6 per will you control. So luckily it is 6 plus 0 right now. I use my lowest stat. All of them are at 2, so it doesn't matter which one. And each of them will get a plus 2 from here, so it won't really matter. I need a 4 up on 2 dice to control this tile. Yeah, like Hoover is saying, there's some that have like an effective limit where it's just going to be impossible for you to come back, so you just kind of concede and reset it. All right, wow, I rolled a 10, so we're super good. So I'm now 1/3 of the way to victory. I can feel it. I can feel it coursing through my veins. I'm going to use this to gain a trigger and re-roll this die using, again, the Phoenix via this action. Don't say snake eyes, that's just so rude. This is spinning, not rolling. Okay, well, I'll just do that again, because that's what the Phoenix's actual die face is. I'll do it again, because that's what the Phoenix's die face is. And again. Okay. I guess I'll discard some cards. I own 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to get rid of probably this tile. Got to put these both back in there, shuffle it. Wow, the same tile came back out on top. Okay, this is looking not terrible. But now it's the end of the round. I don't get a trigger, and it does a bad thing. Three. That is going to be controlling my highest influence tile and depleting all my triggers. Stop rolling 2s and 3s. What are you doing? Let's see. Sorry for the whiplash there. My highest. Oh, gotta break the tie. SLIC. Oh, good. The agility tile that I fought so hard for is gone. I love it. Okay. That's okay. That's fine. I feel so pressed here with, I just can't keep my triggers going because I continuously am emptying them. I had 3 at one point before the draining began. What do I want this to be? Probably a power so I can use my leader action. I honestly really need to stock up on these triggers and hopefully not lose them at the end of this round. So I use this for my Phoenix's action to re-roll it, gain a trigger. That's not bad. I think I'll use my 2-die action from my lizard. Since I now have this central tile, I can destroy both of these. and then move into this agility to try to get it back with my first movement. So that's move number 1. Oh, I only have 1 trigger, so this next thing I was going to do is kind of irrelevant. Oh well. So let's attempt that. I need a 4 once again because I don't control any agility tiles. I'm rolling 1 die with a +2. Got it. Back on the board for agility. Now technically I could now with my second move warp and situate myself here and try to reclaim this tile next turn somehow. I think I will. So with the agility tile, when you would exit it, you can warp to and control a tile that's in reach. So reach is 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. That's how I warped over there through all those walls and stuff. I kind of snaked through to go here. If I had triggers, I could have tried to control it, but as I've probably mentioned, I'm a little short. Okay. I don't gain any triggers. It does a bad thing. As you can see, these rounds really go fast once you're like, okay, I've been playing this for a bit, and I know what's happening. It controls, it's going to control 2 tiles of the highest influence that are uncontrolled. That one. Oh wait, let me look at this. This actually goes here. Because they're both 2s, the alphabet will break the tie, so D. So it controlled my tile and that one. So it's at 2 of 5, it's at 1 of 3 killed, and I'm at 1 of 3 temples. Okay. This would be possibly progressing faster if I had more dice, but I injured myself early on, so I'm having to take it kind of slow. Okay. And I'm kind of stuck in a bit of a loop doing very similar actions here. Speaking of which, I probably need to get some triggers going. So gain 1 of these and do a, actually, you know what? Maybe I don't do the reroll. What's this? 2 HP to a unit whose 1 die action matches your current tile's type. So I could do that to this one. They have 1 HP, these tokens do. And I could use this action to just kill it. Yeah, let's do that. Kill it. Going to attempt to control this boost tile. I use whatever stat I want, and it is just a 4. So I got 2 dice with all my different attributes, so it doesn't really matter which one. And I rolled a 10, so I am super good. Got it back. Last 2 dice. Control these, or destroy these rather. Don't want to do that, I don't think. Let's do this to do the Phoenix to re-roll it. Don't be energy. When I specifically asked you not to be energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could discard 5 cards to just remove this tile. I think I will. 2, 3, 4, 5. What's my deck looking like? I got 33 left. I'm still super fine. Get rid of that one. Goes into its bin. Shuffle it. Okay. So that's that. This will be re-rolled from the Phoenix. It will be re-rolled from the Phoenix, I say. All right. I do have a trigger now because I just used that. I think it's time to make a decisive action. I'm going to try to control this second will tile. So I'm going to use this to move. So It is 6 plus 6 per will I control, so it will be another one here. I will need to roll a 12. I have 2 dice. No matter what stat I use, I have to use my lowest, but I have a +2. So I need a 10 on 2 dice. This is my decisive action. This will either be me winning, or not winning, but getting closer to winning, or this will be me probably conceding. Let's find out what happens. I mean, it will decide the game. That part's true. Oh, no. 7. All right. Well, that is the roll that loses me the game. Because it's going to kill this. And now I'm only going to have 2 dice for the next rounds. And the 5, yes, you're right. The 5 got me excited. I really thought, because it landed first too. I was like, I did it. I did it. All right, well, I'm going to call this one GG because I'm only going to have from now on whatever die I select and this. That's all that I'm going to have from now on. I'm not going to be able to come back. I don't think. Because then at the end of this round, I would get a trigger, it would roll a thing. That wasn't so bad. But if it attacked me, it would have been really bad. It would have rolled, if it rolled a 1, it would have rolled an attack of 2 dice against this really weak unit I had on the right. And could have killed it and just finished the game just like that. All right, well, that's Ufent. So, as you can see, these solos, they are not freebies. I know that I beat Finns during the last stream. And I had to work at that one too. There was some recovering. It got really bad for a bit. This one just sort of started bad because I made a silly mistake. But the thing is like, there's a lot of special rules in the solo quests, and so it can be a lot to absorb that first playthrough. And for me, it's been a while since I've played through this one. And then the fact that there's 12 of them, you have to remember lots of different rule sets. Hopefully what you glean from this, though, other than the difficulty, is, how different it is. That's kind of what I said up front, was this one is set apart drastically from the rest. I'm not really using cards as far as drawing and playing them. I have to rely on just a couple of them. It's very much just a push your luck kind of thing. It's push your luck meets Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, as Jordan pointed out in the stream chat. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing that glimpse into yet another extremely different game mode that you'll be getting hopefully soon in your box at home. Again, I will keep everyone posted on what's happening with the manufacturing. As I said at the top of the stream, I did get my DHL tracking number on what is supposedly a mass production copy for me to double check, triple check, and so on. That will be here. It says Thursday. Sometimes those get here a little early, but I'm not going to bank on that. I'll just say it'll probably be here Thursday. I don't know, so my camera situation's not great. But I'll try to do something so you can see what's going on in the box and so on. It's definitely not going to look ultra professional, so I apologize in advance. But I do want you all to get a little glimpse into what I get, whatever's in that package. In the meantime, hopefully you liked the stream. I really do appreciate there's people here that were tuning in and participating, and I know we took that diversion with Zael for a while, but I think that at least the people that were here enjoyed it. Hopefully the people watching the VOD enjoy it. But we are right at about the 2-hour mark, which seems like a good place to wrap it up. So before I sign off, does anyone have any last minute questions or comments or anything like that I can address for you? I did, yeah, I did think I found the cup of the King of Kings, but I chose poorly. Is it poorly or unwisely? What does the Crusader or whatever he is say? Maybe I should just look it up. Oh, the correct answer is wisely. The wrong answer is poorly, not unwisely. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. All right. So yes, I did choose poorly. It's a fact. Anyone up for a game? That's a good question. I am going to be stepping away because I need to eat and such. Um, but maybe later, like I said during the beginning of the stream, I do need to on tabletop update some of the art and snap points for the leaders and so on. So um, I would need to wait until after I do that before we really say like let's play a game. Um, but we can try to get something going if we can find people. At some point, maybe one of these streams, what I'll do is like arrange a few people to do a skirmish. I would just need to make sure that everyone's on board with the fact that it's a, you know, an official stream that's going to be viewed potentially by minors and not using the language that sometimes comes up in heated moments of competitive games. So I just need to get that on the table so that we're all behaving. Everyone did pretty well during the tournament though. When we did those two tournaments, everyone behaved themselves on stream. So that was again a lot of fun. And once the game comes out, I think we'll try to get some more of those set up, honestly. Some more of those tournaments. I think what I'll do is maybe find someone who's slightly better at running tournaments like the brackets and stuff than I am, because my attention was just split in so many directions between hosting the games and then doing the camera, doing the casting, or at least my best impression of what casting is, but then also like organizing the tournament, answering rules questions. It was just a lot. So maybe I'll try to find someone to help me with that when the game comes out. For now that we're in this apparently spaceship with this music, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But again, thanks for tuning in. And if this continues to be popular, I'll try to do one every once in a while. Just to give you more insights into the game, more art, more lore, more gameplay, all that. So, thanks everybody, and I will catch you next time.